All right, guys, welcome back to the Lost Boyz Podcast, episode 10. 10. I think it's 10. We are still the number one podcast in Mars and in the Milky Way galaxy in general. Anyways, with that being said, Gianni,
Brandon,
welcome. Today's topic is none other than social media.
Fucking media.
I don't know why I froze. As I was saying media, it stopped. The word just stopped coming out. I don't know if you heard it. Did you hear it?
No.
I said social media.
quick stroke, you know?
Yeah, that's what social media. That's what social media does to you.
But no.
That's what we're gonna talk about.
Facts. Real quick, before we get into it, I do want to start linking our socials more. Let them know where they can find you.
Find me on Instagram at Gianni Rosado, GIONNIROSADO.
Fire. Me, you can find me on Instagram at King Nathaniel, King with 2 I's, KIINGNATHANIEL.
There you go.
I always have to think mad hard to be like, yo, how the fuck do you spell King?
And then don't forget, subscribe if you're new. Drop a like, turn the post notifications on, and leave a comment. And let us know what you think, what your thoughts were, what you would like to hear next for us to talk about, anything like that. Of sorts, or DM us as well too. And yeah.
If there's anything you want us to talk about that you might want advice on or think would be of value to us, you can either DM either one of us, comment down below, or comment on TikTok, which Lost Boyz Podcast on TikTok, boys with a Z.
Just gonna say that, yep. And also, if you want to see clips from all the podcasts that maybe refresh on, or maybe get a glimpse of what it's like, we also have YouTube Shorts up as well. It's still on the same page, so you could just glance at it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, with that being said, we're gonna get into today's topic, which is social media.
So, obviously, social media is the norm of today's society.
It's society in general.
Quite literally, actually.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna talk about a little bit about the mental health aspects of social media, and what we found from research, and also what we couldn't find from research as well, which is very interesting because I thought I was gonna find way more information on social media, but I did not. Yeah. I found very little information actually. Well, very little cold hard fact information.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Given the nature of what we're talking about, social media, the internet, you want to be careful what information you're really looking at, because I can put out a post that says 9 in 10 people are actually turtles, right? And if enough people retweet it, it suddenly becomes fact in society.
Yeah, exactly.
So you definitely want to check your sources, make sure you're getting cold, hard facts.
Make sure when you do find research studies too, it's important to see the demographic that was studied, also how many people were studied, things like that, because that plays a big role. Like, for example, I have a stat here, however, it's a small group of people, so I don't know how much it correlates, but I just thought it was pretty interesting, so I wrote it down either way, which I will share in a bit. But that is very important as well. And I actually, speaking of social media, that is one of the issues of social media, how clickbait is such a big thing now.
God, yeah.
People read headlines and just run with it without ever actually reading what's inside of it, what they're actually talking about, because 9 out of 10 times is not what it says it is.
It's true.
If you actually read the articles.
Obviously, if you're watching this, you're watching it on YouTube, unless, you're checking it out on Spotify and everything, coming soon. But we're in the nature of attention. You think about CNN and things like that. They're going to put a headline that they know is going to grab your attention.
Yeah.
And you're going to click on it, because that's their entire goal, is to have you click on it. So whether it's a social media post, it's true, a YouTube video, anything, a lot of it is going to be just attention grabbing and probably have nothing to do with what the title actually was.
Yeah, and the whole reason behind it is for money, because the more clicks they get, that means the more viewership, which means they can send those numbers to advertisers, and in return the advertisers will pay more to get their stuff on, because so many people are going to bid because you're getting so many views now. That's why YouTubers who get a lot of views get paid ridiculous amounts of money for a 30-second ad in their video.
It's true. Because
they know if they get the YouTuber to say it, the return on the ad is going to be way more beneficial. And so that's why clickbait's a thing. That's why people make crazy headlines that actually have nothing to do with what they're talking about sometimes, or are completely false. It's on purpose. It's because they generate revenue that way.
And if you're the kind to see that crazy headline and right away, I'll run with it and click on it and, you know what, send it around, you're the exact demographic that they're targeting.
Yeah.
That's why, like, it just goes back to you want to make sure you're checking through.
Yeah. Like, I'll send things like that too, but I don't know if you noticed, but every time I send it, I always say, like, I don't know if this is true or not, but if it is, this is wild.
Yeah.
I always preface with, I don't know if this is true or not.
Yeah, no, like, the other day I sent something about, like, when you want to get past the bridge in New York, and I was like, I can't fact check this, but this is what is being said. Like, that's another way to present information, because even saying that, you might raise a conversation around something and somebody else might fact check it and maybe it's true or maybe it's false, right? But like there's an open dialogue now, which is the bane of society now. Nobody wants to talk about anything.
And I think a lot of it has to do with social media, which we'll dive into in a bit. But to get more into today's topic of mental health, well, we're going to touch on a couple of topics, but the first topic is mental health. I have a quote here from a study was done by the American Journal of Epidemiology. However, when I researched the sample group, it was a very small sample group compared to how many people actually use social media. It took 5,000 people, which is very small compared to the amount of people that are on social media. And the study found that, I have it written down, I don't have it memorized. This is why I wrote it down. Thank you, Veronica.
Hey.
The study found that higher social media use correlated with self-reported declines in mental and physical health, as well as life satisfaction.
So, repeat that. Less satisfaction in physical health?
Mental health and overall life.
What? Just, it's funny because anything that's on, I'm like, Instagram, like.
Yeah, but Instagram is probably like one of the biggest platforms, that's why.
It's true, because like, think about it. In just terms of physical health, right? We are in the age of influencers right now. Or maybe we're leaving the age of influencers. But for the last solid 5 years, I would say, we've been stuck in this realm of influencers. And who are these influencers? The gym rats and the females with the A1 model bodies, right?
Which half the time is fake.
Yeah. Maybe some Photoshop in there, job done, right? So these beauty standards are being imposed on even younger people. Like, I don't want to bring up her name again, but I don't know why Chantal Jeffries is always the first one that comes to mind. But like, imagine a 15-year-old girl looking at Chantal Jeffries. It's like, I have to look like that, right?
Yeah.
So guess what? That's already instilling some form of negativity.
I'm not good enough, basically.
Yeah.
And when you really look at her, you realize like 90%, no hate to her at all, but 90% of her is fake.
It's true.
Her lips are fake. I don't know about this, or her rest of her body, but she has like crazy cheekbones, not real. Like the majority of these women that are on those platforms that are giving out that sense of beauty have something about them that isn't real, if not almost all of them that isn't real in terms of physical features. Like a lot of them fake ass, fake tits, fake lips, Botox and cheekbone. Like they have so many cosmetics done to them. Like I don't even know if that makes sense, but like it's not even realistic. Like same thing for guys too, right? Like you see, like as guys, you see like maybe these influencers that have like these crazy physiques, which is attainable, but for some people's genetics, it may not. You could still get real fit, but maybe your fitness goal will be a little different because you don't have those kind of genetics. But more than anything that I would say is pornography. Pornography, which, and I don't know if that's considered a social media, but it's a. Well, I don't know if that goes under social media. It absolutely
goes hand in hand because.
But it creates that false dynamic of like, oh, this is what like my penis has to look like.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what this looks like. Oh, this is what I need to do with a girl. Oh, this is how I'm supposed to do this. But it's not true. Like maybe in some cases, yeah, sure, that person may enjoy it, but not every person is gonna enjoy that.
I just saw it on TikTok the other day where it was a porn star. She was banned off YouTube just because we said that word. She was saying that a lot of the male actors have had surgeries and need injections just to film.
Yeah.
Right? So
I've heard some crazy stuff.
That's already creating it's creating a gap between what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
But I did want to aid your point real quick about social media and pornography, where I see social media as the marketing space for pornography.
Yeah, that's true. It's a very good point.
Where Instagram is where everybody has their little fucking OnlyFans links.
Yeah. That's true, the little trees and all that.
Yeah, so I think they absolutely go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think of that. The one quick thing I was going to say about that I've heard about pornography too, I think it was Lana Rhodes who said it. I don't know if you guys know who Mike Malak is, but on his channel that she said that like some of those guys as well, like some of the girls have fake bodies. Some of the guys do too, including their penis. Like a lot of them have these surgeries where it's like they actually have pumps put into their penises that they literally inflate. Like it's like you fucking inflate a balloon. Like that's how she described it. Like you inflate your penis that way it could stay erect and they could actually film because they can't get it up and things like that. It's fucking crazy. And then that's what regular Joes are saying. So they think, oh, I have to be like that. And then when they don't compare to that because it's not real, it creates like some self-image on them or maybe some mental health where they think they're not good enough, they can't satisfy someone and things like that.
And think about, it's talking specifically to guys here, think about the guys that are seeing this, right? And when you say that, I'm imagining like, take somebody pre-adolescence, right? Or maybe in the adolescence phase, somebody in like middle school, right? Mm-hmm. That, you know, their hormones are running up, so now, you know, maybe they're discovering pornography or they're in that realm right now. And this is what they're seeing. But so they're imagining, you know, this guy, fucking Tony Thundercock over here, and comparing themselves to that and instantly feeling disqualified or not good enough or too small, whatever it may be, when in reality, they're competing with a fucking false sculpture that was constructed. Yeah. So even to this specific demographic, it's creating a serious issue of I need to improve or I'm just not good enough.
Yeah, it's creating an issue of body dysmorphia.
There you go.
Where you think you have to look or be a certain way and you don't. What you're looking at is not real. It's, like you said, it's constructed. Not all of it was how it was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. It was work done to it and not natural work. But I think that goes back to like the whole mental health thing, because now you have these very small percentage and select few of people, which really isn't that much, that's so popular. So you have so many of the same people looking at so many of the small group of people. So now the majority of the populace thinks, oh, this is how you have to be. And when you're not that, it affects their mental health. It's like, damn, like I said, oh, I'm not good enough. Mm-hmm. Oh, but I don't have this, and this, that person does. You're looking at like 1% of like 99% of the population. Like if you just put all of, let's say there's 7 billion people on social media, on Instagram, you're looking at 1% of the 7 billion, which is still a lot of people, but compared to 7 billion is insignificant. Mm-hmm. And you're comparing that to like everyone and to yourself, when it's not the case. Like that's not how it works. And I think a big part of the reason why the mental health is a big issue is because people have have way more access to that 1% of people, where now it's so easy to access them and see how they live that you compare yourself to them, and now that's even causing more of an issue.
See, two things. One, because you just used the word compare, it's comparing is in human nature. I think it's the way men compete, right? Mm-hmm. If you really think about it, we compare by something we touched on prior to the podcast, but like status, right? We compete in, if I see that, everything. Every single thing. But if I see you working out at the gym, I have to work out more, right?
Yeah, I gotta be stronger.
Yeah, or I have to be more cut, right?
Yeah.
So comparing, there's no way around it. you might think of yourself as, nah, I don't compare to others, right? But at the end of the day, your feed has others' successes, because Instagram is a highlight of the 0.01% of the successes in people's lives. Like, Instagram pictures are vacations, beach, right? Maybe going out, clubbing, right? Whatever it may be. Like, this is the common trend, I would say, of posts, you know, showing off the life you're living. But in reality, how much time are you spending on vacation, right? Yeah. Maybe a week out of the year, let's say. So you're competing and comparing yourself to somebody else's 0.01%.
Yeah,
I would say.
Better yet, how much of that are you actually even living?
It's true.
Because you're too focused on, I got to get this so I can post on social media. That you're looking at everything you're living through your phone camera and not even with your real eyes.
This is something that we've had an issue when we've traveled, where it's like, we're talking about like, damn, we need to take more pictures. Yeah. Because it's like, I remember being in Aruba and just thinking like that, I'm mesmerized by everything, where it's like, I didn't think to pull out my phone and take a picture. I was like trying to take a picture of my mind, like just living in that moment and being mindful.
Yeah.
Being mindful is very key.
100%. And, but yeah, it's crazy because like, despite what people say, like, social media in a sense is a drug. At least in my personal opinion, I think social media is a drug. I think it's like a way to, like, you constantly releasing dopamine in a sense. And I wish I could have found more, like, this is my opinion. This isn't like facts that I found, because surprisingly, it was very hard to find cold hard facts about the direct correlation with social media and mental health, because most of the studies are small sample groups and they don't correlate to everyone. So it kind of makes it difficult, because then you're not talking to the general populace at that point. You're talking to just those people. So, and maybe that's not how it is for everyone. So, I have the notebook. I still forgot what I was about to say. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I think it is a drug, because it's a constant dopamine release of that feel good. Like, it's like going to the doctor's office, right? You go, you check in, you sit down, you're waiting. Instead of just sitting down, like just waiting normally, pull out your phone.
Yep.
You're waiting in line at the grocery store, pull out your phone. You're waiting at a red light, check my phone real quick. Like anything, you're waiting for your food, I'm gonna go on my phone. Like, even sometimes people eat and go on their phone. Or like, you go on YouTube while eating. I do this all the time. Like, I'll put YouTube right here.
Yeah.
I'll eat my food and everything. But like, low key, that's probably not a good thing.
It's true.
But it's something I do. But like, and it's crazy because there's one word that both social media and the drug industry use. And it's crazy when you think about it. But both social media, people that use social media and drugs are classified as one thing, and it's the word users. When you use drugs, you're a user of drugs. When you use social media, you're a social media user. They're the only two industries where they call their customers users.
As you can tell, like, because when we discussed, like, we made sure to keep like our information separate.
Yeah.
I never made that fucking connection.
Yeah.
Because it's true.
I never made that connection either. I saw this documentary, which I think you guys should check out as well. It's called The Social Dilemma on Netflix. Really good.
I was going to say, Netflix, plug us for the promotion.
Yeah, facts. We're sending you an invoice. And The Social Dilemma too. But watch it, check it out, and like really listen to it with an open mind and just like hear what they have to say. And then if you want, go on their website too and just kind of see like where most of their studies came from and all that too, because that's also important. But yeah, that's where I got it from, because it came up on the screen like in words. It said the only two industries that call their customers users are social media and drugs. The only two. And it's crazy because the whole premise of that documentary was saying how pretty much it's an addiction, social media, and how they use persuasive designs and techniques to like keep pulling people back in with like push notifications, other things. Like, you ever go on like an app, you swipe out, and like 5 seconds later it sends you, join this to see this, and that. It's like, yo, I just swiped off, but it's literally right away inviting you back, and it's trying to catch you to get back in and stay longer on it. With social media, there's like infinite swipes. Scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can scroll for all day on Instagram, TikTok. it'll never end. You can find videos. It will never end if you just stay 24 hours like this. It never stops. Like, there's ways to keep you hooked and caught in and stuck in that spot.
I forgot where I saw it, but it was the science of scrolling. Like, the motion of scrolling, that was not chosen by coincidence. Like, it's actually very pleasing to scroll up and down. Like, the idea, I need to find the exact study or the exact conversation about it.
Yeah.
But that it's, and honestly, I think about it too, where it's like, if you look at TikTok, right? I get my, gratification and I scroll. Gratification, scroll. So now I associate the motion of flicking my thumb with gratification and dopamine because I'm getting to the point of whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I had this thought when you were talking about being in like the waiting room and things like that, because one of the notes I wrote down was we are absolutely killing our attention spans, where we have a need for gratification that is so large, like so strong, where it's like a user, right? Like a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
What happens? Maybe you did X amount of, I'm gonna use caffeine as an example. What happens? The first time you have caffeine, 50 milligrams is fucking crack. Then you go up to 75. Then you go up to 100. Look at things like a Starbucks latte is 150 milligrams of caffeine. At one point, I believe Monster was 60 milligrams of caffeine, right? But guess what? Now, Monster's almost 200 milligrams of caffeine a can. Now, I work at a gym, right? Pre-workout, 300 milligrams a scoop.
Yeah.
We have energy drinks on the shelf where it's like 200 milligrams, then 300. We just rolled out a new one that's 400. You know what it is? It's the tolerance, right? Mm-hmm. You start building tolerance. Now take you on, when YouTube first came out, it was longer form content. You can watch things. Well, guess what? That wasn't interesting anymore. So now the 10-minute videos became 7-minute videos and 6 and 5, right? To the point where now we're down to a minute on TikTok, where it's actually 15 seconds because they tell you on TikTok you have to get to the point within the first 15 seconds or else you lose the viewer.
Yeah.
Guess what? Shorts. There's a reason why you can upload 15-second TikToks and shorts and everything like that. It's because the tolerance that is coming with, the
attention spans become so short.
So you need to get to the point. You need to get to the gratification. You need to get to the dopamine as quick as possible, or else people lose interest. Guess what? That's funny because you know how when you were in like the DARE program, it was like, oh, weed's a gateway drug, right? Because eventually you get used to it and you go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
That's what social media is. And all of these platforms, because you get to the point of it, and now you're going to get to the same point, and you're going to get to the same level of gratification, and that's not enough. So now you need the next thing. It needs to be quicker, and it needs to be bigger.
Yep. It's crazy. I was just about to say all of that too. You took it right out of my mouth. But, pause. I was going to say just that too. Like, I was going to make the correlation with drugs and social media, how social media, you keep needing more and more and more and more and more. Where in drugs, that's exactly what drug addicts are. They need to continue chasing that high. They need more, or something new and advanced. And now this is the new thing, and I need all of it. Then when I get tired of it, I need the next thing. And they went from cocaine to crack.
Mm-hmm.
like it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And that's a big issue. And like even today, like the story I was telling you about today at work, the woman was complaining and mad and called me an asshole because the machine wasn't working. When the machine was working perfectly fine. The problem was she was looking at her phone and not listening to what I was telling her what to do. I kept telling her, click this button. She kept clicking the other button and then got mad every time it declined. Mm-hmm. And every time I kept telling her to push the button, she kept looking at her phone and doing something. So I'm like, and I'm just standing here like, are you going to keep getting mad because it's not working? Or are you going to put your phone down and listen for a second and just stop acting like everything has to be like that? Like that instant gratification. Like, my card is going to go through that, said I'm gone. Like, if it, like, literally the first time it didn't work, she rolled her eyes. She started giving me attitude, like it was me. I'm like, no, it's you. You're not listening to what the machine is telling you to do. Like, how's that but that's what I feel like social media has caused that too, to an extent, where it's like, everything has to be like that. It has to be now. Yeah. And if it doesn't, it's a problem. Like, no one has patience anymore. You make somebody wait 2 seconds, they start getting anxious and like everything. Fuck that. I gotta go. I'll come back to it. Whatever. Like, no one could just wait. Like, I'm watching a video and somebody starts talking to me, I pause and it's like, and then you just want to go back to it. You can't just pause and be like, yeah, what's up? The video's not going nowhere. Like, that person may go somewhere. That video's not going nowhere.
You just put this in my mind, right? I'm gonna go a little off the talking points here, but think about this. Exactly what you just said, right? Car's not working. She has like this, thought of like, it's such a grand inconvenience that she had to call you an asshole, right?
Yeah, she put the blame on me. She made herself the victim when she was the one at fault.
Oh my God, I wasn't even gonna bring up victim mentality, but oh my God,
that's a whole nother.
Yeah. What's it called? But so that was a grand inconvenience where she had to step out of character, mm-hmm. right? And now let's say this keeps happening, right? Because technology fails, right? Do you think that the instant gratification that we're getting used to receiving is related to anxiety?
Anxiety? I think so. I think to an extent. I don't know about 100%, but I think to an extent. When it comes to patience and stuff like that, I think so. Yeah, 100%. Like people not wanting to wait on lines long enough, all that. I think 100% it has to do with technology in general, but also social media with the instant gratification of things. Whereas like if you don't get what you want, like you start getting anxious, like come on,
mm-hmm.
just give it to me now, and that's it, kind of thing. And then it may sound like extreme, but that's that's basically what it is. Like no one has the patience. There's not many people I know that can just stand in a line like this
and just wait.
Yeah. They start getting antsy. How much longer? You can see how many people are in front of you. There's no need to look up. The person scanning the items. It's gonna take time. It's just the way it is. You keep looking. Go on my phone.
Yeah. So take a moment like that, right? Where you just said like being online and there's a resistance to the gratification, right? You have to wait on that line, mm-hmm. right? Or let's say you're on that line and your phone dies. Oh, God forbid, right? Now, what happens? The longer you go without that gratification, the longer you go, the longer an addict goes into withdrawals, right? What happened? Your mind starts running, right? You're like, oh my God, I need it. Bam. Now your heart rate starts going up, right? I will fortify this argument and I will do my own research on it. But in my mind, I'm starting to see a lot of lines connecting, a lot of dots connecting between mini anxiety attacks and just resistance of gratification.
I would agree with that.
Like, I'm going to do my research.
To an extent.
And I'm going to get back to this.
Yeah. I think to an extent, for sure. I think when it comes more of patience and things like that, I would say 100. I would agree with that more than anything. But I do think there could be anxiety for other things.
No,
like maybe like if you have like if you were in war and like a grenade goes off. Like,
yeah,
but
that's also known as PTSD.
But no, yeah. When it comes to like patience and things like that, I think so for sure. I think social media plays a big role as to why so many people are so impatient. Like, bro, you ever drive in New York City?
Oh my God.
How impatient those motherfuckers are. Yeah. Yo, the light didn't even turn green yet, so they're already honking. I'm like, yo, what do you do? Crash and die? But I don't know if that was from social media. There's that. New York City's always been that way. It's just a fast-paced environment. But like, I feel like that's kind of like the characteristics people have started to adopt nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
Like even like Billy from fucking Mississippi, from Bumblefuck, Mississippi, at the gas station is like, hurry the fuck up, buddy. I'm gonna get canceled for that one, but I don't care. But like that's probably like, it's probably from him scrolling on his fucking phone and getting everything he wants.
It's true.
Or she wants or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I was gonna say, so like you just said, like Billy, right, from Mississippi. Social media has, and I'm gonna bring up the categorization for a second, because social media has done such a good job of molding into society where even Billy from Mississippi mm-hmm. is fit into a box where his day-to-day life needs to be affected by social media. Like,
yeah,
social media has social media has bridged the gaps between people. Whereas I don't need to go, right? Think about when we were kids, right? What happened if we wanted to hang out? I had to go to your house or you had to come to my house, right?
Yeah.
Now, my brother and my cousins don't need to.
They don't know what it's like to go knock on somebody's door, ring the doorbell. Can this person come out and play?
Yeah.
Or they never experienced, or not even that. Like, at least for me growing up, like, we just show up to everybody knew from this time to this time we're at the park. No one had a phone to know what time.
Yeah.
Not how I knew what time to go home. It sounds so outdated and old school, but first of all, I didn't have like a phone for a long period of time until I got to high school. So how I knew when to go home when I was at the park with my friends was when the light turned on or when I heard the church bell go off. I knew it was 6 o'clock. I had to go home. Dude. That's how. So once I heard the thing, I was like, "All right, guys, peace," and I go home. That's how I knew how to go home.
Bro, do you remember my mom could drop me off if your mom could drive me back?
Yeah.
Like, dude, and I remember growing up like where in Fairview, right, where it's like on that block going door to door. Hey, can this kid come out? Yeah. And then getting the group together, going to the next. Hey, can this kid come out? Right?
Yeah.
And do you remember? You asked my mom. She might say yes to you.
Yeah. No, I don't want to ask. If I ask, she's gonna say no. But if you ask, she'll say yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, kids. I feel like kids these days don't have that kind of interaction. Like everything changed. Everything changed big time. And like it changed during our lifetime, to be honest, because like as we were going through middle school and high school is really when social, like Facebook blew up and all that stuff, and Instagram started popping off and everything. But I heard that shit. That's crazy. But to actually a question I have written here that I wanted to ask was, do you think human interaction will decrease, and to what extent as a result of social media?
Will human interaction decrease? I think it already has. And I think do
you think it will decrease further?
Oh yeah, I think we're just witnessing the beginning of the decrease. For example, it went from me needing to go over to your house or you needing to come over to my house to play to, we could just get on Call of Duty, right? Remember MW2 days, right? To FaceTiming. Guess what? These are all more and more intimate levels of interaction that don't require us to be in person. To now, dude, we got fucking VR, bro. You know what VR chats are, dog? Where you can just create a character and exist in a world, and we can be side by side, dap each other up and everything, being miles away from each other.
It's crazy. I've heard some. My fault.
Finish. No, you're good. You're good.
No, finish what you were gonna say.
No, so the point I'm getting at is just we're seeing this increase in the disparity between social interaction, where it's just getting more and more digital, and we're at the forefront of what this virtual world can be. And I think the more normalized things like virtual chats, right, become, the less need there is for a lot of people to just be like, yo, dude, I don't need to go to your house, man. Just jump on the VR chat, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't even conceive what comes after VR.
Yeah, it's interesting. What I was gonna say was I've heard some stories, about these like meta worlds and like VR worlds and everything, and it's fucking crazy. And some of it is low key sad as fuck. Like, some people have actually become raging alcoholics from it. Some people have actually died from it. It's crazy because it's not even like real. It's virtual. I heard this one story that basically like, so in these virtual worlds, they like literally run like pretty much real life. Like they'll own a nightclub or like an underground speakeasy kind of thing, because maybe it's like illegal in that world or whatever. And people literally like, actually, some people have died and some people have just like full on just pass out on their face from drinking, because they're in this social setting in this VR with the headspace that they're drinking, but because they're seeing something else, their mind is not making the connection, so they don't realize how fucked up they really, like how drunk they really are, and so they don't feel it, so they just keep drinking and drinking and drinking to the point of either death, alcohol poisoning, things like that, where they need their stomach pump, and in some cases like they just pass out. And like other people who are in the scene with them, or who are like in their friends in the setting, like they'll hear when like somebody, like the body hit the floor, because they could talk to each other.
Yeah.
So they'll literally hear bodies hit the floor and things like that, and they'll be like, yo, you good, and they don't hear nothing back, and they'll be the one sometimes to call the cops to go check on them because they don't know what happened. And we're in just the beginning steps of it, and that's already to the extent it's gone. We're like, there's already alcoholics in virtual reality, bro. This shit's not even real. There's already alcoholics at the, like, it's crazy to the extent it's gone. It's honestly scary too. It's like, bro, like my other question. Oh, I already asked that. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think human interaction is slowly decreasing, and the need for it is continuously slowly decreasing, to the point I wonder, will there ever even need to be a need for human interaction, which is so vital to our survival as humans. Like, biologically speaking, we need human. That's what we thrive off of, and what we need to survive.
Two things I want to say real quick. One, on the VR topic. I got to try VR before it was widely accessible at the Samsung store. Where was it? It was in Paramus, right? But this was years ago.
It's probably Garden State.
Nah, the other mall. Bergen.
Ah.
The little plaza there, right? This was years ago. This had to be, I was still in high school. But they were free testing the VR, right? And I remember they had seats right next to your standing area, because one of the first things they tell you before you put on the headset is your brain doesn't know it's in virtual reality. You know you're in virtual reality, but your brain doesn't. Don't look for your feet. Right? That was the first thing they said. Don't look for your feet. My dumbass was like, bet. Right? So I put on the headset, and I remember at first I was standing in a helicopter, like it was like a little experience thing. And the first thing I did was like try to look for my feet. And then you realize you don't have feet yet, right? Because you're just like in this virtual world. And I remember feeling like a little bit of dizziness. And that's what the guy said. Like, whenever you look for your feet or your hands, and you're looking for your extremities, and your brain doesn't see it, but remember, you're engulfed. It's all you can see.
Yeah.
Your brain gets tricked, and your brain starts panicking, right? So I was like, wow, that's dangerous. But next point, the lack of interaction, right? Which, remember, we thrive on. How much of that is creating an emptiness in people that is getting called or getting self-diagnosed as depression today?
I think a lot of it. Do I think depression is real? Yes and no. I think in a clinical standpoint, where there's a chemical imbalance or trauma or PTSD, things like that, yes, I think it's real. Do I think it's real when Sally sees that she doesn't have a fat ass and juicy lips like fucking Kimberly across the street from Kimberly in LA, I mean, on her Instagram? No, you're not fucking depressed. You're just retarded. That's what you are. Like, truthfully, you're not depressed. You're just retarded. That's all it is.
Like, dude. And this goes back to another issue of social media, where it's so easy to self-diagnose yourself.
Yeah, which is, like I was telling you before, and at least the psychology classes I took, what they told us, the very first thing they tell us is, when you're going through school to become a psychologist, what they teach you is never self-diagnose, never diagnose somebody you know. Those are the main two rules. You don't. Number one, never self-diagnose. Number two, never diagnose somebody you know. For that reason, because you diagnose falsely many of the times.
Like, it's too easy to just say, like, honestly, a lot of people that I see claiming or self-diagnosing depression, honestly, to me, you don't have an issue, you have an excuse. Like, a purebred excuse. Like, it's so easy to say, oh, I can't be X, Y, and Z. That requires a lot of work to become, because you are this. Yeah. Because you are anxious about every situation you've ever been through. And, you can't get out of bed because, you're so depressed, right? Like, to me, that's all cop-out. Now, for the percentage of people that do have, let's say, something truly wrong internally that they're struggling with or something like that, like maybe an imbalance, right? Then okay. But I think you can still try to find a way around that, right? Like, that's why we have the psychology field, psychiatry, everything like that, right? But if you're just down, the way depression is used today, I have an issue with.
I think it's used a little too loosely.
Yes, there you go.
And I think what you're trying to explain is basically like people are using the excuse of depression as a way to justify their failures.
Yep.
Instead of accepting their failures or accepting that they're not willing to take the leap of faith to do something that they actually want to do, they use something else to justify it. And then the initial cop-out is, oh, but it's because I'm depressed or anxious and I have this, I have that. They find the negatives to justify why they can't or why they couldn't do something.
Yep.
Versus just taking the accountability, like, hey, I actually tried, didn't work, is what it is, on to the next kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
well
like,
said.
And like I said, like, do I think like PTSD and real life traumas can cause depression and like chemical imbalances? 100%. That's real. Like, it's a real thing, depression. But I think it's become so mainstream that now it's so widely and loosely used that it almost takes away from the people that really do have depression, in my personal opinion. Because like I said, Sally's upset because she doesn't look like Kimberly in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's all upset and down and like negative about herself and her body. Sally, you're not depressed, you're just a fucking idiot. Like,
true.
Wake the fuck up. That's not realistic. It's not real. Maybe actually like yourself. Who knows? Maybe you're not depressed anymore. Or Jimmy sees fucking Connor in Ireland driving Lamborghinis and Bentleys and Ferraris and all that. He's so upset and down about where he is with, like, damn, he's got it figured out. Why don't I? Well, Jimmy, then maybe fucking do something about it. You know why you're sad about it? Because you're not happy with where you are. So why are you trying to make an excuse to stay exactly where you are? Instead, be like, oh shit, he's where I want to be. Fuck, well, what did he do to get there?
Yeah.
I want to do that. Let me go find the answer.
Dude.
And instead, people just take the easy route. It's easy to quit. Like I said before, like in the figuring it out, it's easy to quit. Becoming rich, becoming this, becoming that, they're simple, but they're not easy. And there's a difference between the two. See, if I want to become fit and strong, it's simple. Eat healthy, work out. But is it easy? No. Does it take time? Yes. Is it going to be difficult? Yes. But instead of fighting through that, people rather just cop out and then use that as an excuse for their failures or why they can't do something. Like, oh no, I can't go out and be in a social setting with people because I'm depressed. Well, maybe you're depressed because you won't go out in a social setting and experience new people and interact with new people. You ever thought about that? Like, maybe you're inflicting the depression per se on yourself. Maybe you're making that excuse so much that now you're starting to believe it. And so now you actually become it, in a sense. It's like if you tell a story, right? Let's say I'm talking to this new girl and I want to tell her a story, but it's about another old girl, but I don't want to specify that.
Mm-hmm.
So I leave a few details out. And then I tell that to another person and then another person. Then suddenly that's just my default way of telling the story, even though it's not the true story.
It's true.
And I'm like, oh shit. Right? Like, then the story becomes true in my head. I only know the story this way. I forget that it actually happened this way. And until somebody else tells me, no, actually this, and this happened. I'm like, oh shit, that did happen. I forgot. But if you lie to yourself enough, eventually you're going to believe it to be true. So if I keep telling myself, because I'm upset with where I am in life, that is because I'm depressed and not because I'm not doing anything to change it, then eventually I'm just going to become depressed and stay depressed. Versus just saying, okay, I feel upset about where I'm at in life. Good. That's life telling me to figure it to get the fuck up and do something different, because what I'm doing right now is not working. It's not, oh, I'm just depressed because I'm lost in life. It's no, life is giving you the fucking answer. What you're doing now is not working. Do something different.
Dude,
it's all about a perspective.
Bro, Ooh, you just dropped so many gems. Oh my God. And I know somebody somewhere is going to be a bitch. Oh, you're going to say depression doesn't work like that. Fuck
Which
you.
I did not even say. It's not real.
Yeah. But like, fuck you, man up. What's it called? I had a teacher in high school say, keep it simple, stupid, right? And like you said, a lot of shit is simple. But it's not easy. And people want the reverse. People want it to be easy.
Yeah.
Right? And in reality, nothing in life worth having is easy.
If you want to be rich, it's simple. But it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
Start a business. Make your business profitable. It's that simple. But is it easy? Hell no. Otherwise, everybody would be fucking rich.
Facts.
Do you want to be ripped? Same thing. Work out. Be healthy. Simple.
Is it easy?
Nope.
Exactly.
Takes hard work and dedication.
And that's why, see, there's a lot of hatred towards, this may be counterproductive to our conversation, but whatever. There's a lot of hatred towards the 1%ers, right? The people making the millions of dollars, right? Mm-hmm. The people with the super ripped bodies, where now if you're in good shape, it's because you're fat phobic. Fuck you if you believe that. I dislike you, right? But if like, that drives me crazy. Well, and I saw that on TikTok, I was like, nah, I'm done. Society's lost it. But anyways, where it's like all these people that have gone through gruesome work to build themselves up, society tends to point the finger at them and say, no, that's bad. No, how dare you? Yeah. You're setting up a false image, right? For like the gym influencers that actually did go through years and years of working out to build their bodies, right? Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? That gets shat on, right? Or if you did years and years of studying and you know what, you got yourself a McLaren, well, guess what? You're a fucking elitist.
You're a scammer.
Yeah, you're a scammer, right? Like, society pushes this narrative of, oh, you can be whatever you want to be. Mm-hmm. But then tries to shit on the people that become who they want to be.
Exactly.
But have this narrative of that's what we're promoting and you can be anything. Like, no.
Yeah. It's easy to hate when you're not it.
Exactly.
Like, if you're not the person who's driving the McLaren or whatever, it's easy to point the finger because it takes the blame off of you. Because nobody wants to take the accountability to say, actually, where I'm at today in life is a direct reflection of my choices and what I've done with my life. They don't want to point and admit to it. They rather say, nah, that person's just, oh, he's scamming, or she's scamming, or that's fake, that's false, that's not real. Don't listen to them, man. They're all elite.
Yeah.
Okay, so then who the fuck are you? If they did it, scamming motherfuckers, dumbass that are as dumb as you are, then why the fuck aren't you there? Mm-hmm. Like, if it's that easy, then why aren't you? Oh, I have morals. No, you don't have morals, motherfucker. You're just lazy.
It's true.
Admit it. You're lazy. Take the accountability. If you're not where you are, where you want to be, it's a direct reflection of your choices, right? Like, even if you don't get to where you want to be, at least try to get there, right? Because as you try to get there, you may actually find a different path, or you may end up going further, or maybe you might find, actually, I'm just good right here. I don't need more than that. This is where I want to be. But at least you tried and you found an answer. Whereas if I just sit back and every time somebody becomes rich, I'm like, nah. So actually, perfect example, Jack Harlow dropped an album. He has a song with Drake. And to me, this is crazy, which I'm going to tie it into the next topic that I wanted to speak on. In the song, he says, though, it's crazy how people I used to fuck with don't fuck with me now. And I'm quoting the lyrics, but they're not word for word. This is just how I remember it. Mm-hmm. It's like he's saying, like, it's crazy how people I used to fuck with or fuck with me don't fuck with me now. It's crazy how when the whole world loves you, there's only one way to stand out, and it's by hating.
It's true,
because now you're different. Oh, nah, fuck Jack Harlow, he sucks. This and that, and then in return, because he has and he became something that you wish you wanted to become, but you're too pussy to try. You should try shit on him and bring him down. Yeah. And that's another big issue with social media, where we've created this whole cancel culture, and people to this day literally make a living off of hating. Like, we've literally monetized hatred. Hatred has become monetized on all social media platforms. There's a channel out there that put out a piece of content that somebody didn't agree with, So they reacted to it. And in return, instead of disagreeing with their ideology of the reaction, they disagreed with the person as a whole and decided, everybody, we need to cancel this person. Yeah. This is a piece of shit person because he doesn't agree. His ideas don't align with mine, so he's a piece of shit. He doesn't deserve to have a platform. He doesn't deserve to make money off his platform. He doesn't deserve to have people have an audience. None of that. No. His idea doesn't agree with mine. Fuck him. He's done. Get him off the social media platform. And people make money off of that, bro. Like,
it's true.
Like, it's mind-blowing to me. Like, that's the world we live in. We live in such a negative, hatred world. And so much of it comes from social media. And I feel like social media creates more of that division. Dude. Whereas like, oh, you don't agree with me? Get over there. I can't be your friend. I can't talk to you. Like, so many, like when Trump was president, right? So many people, like, stopped being friends because you supported and this person didn't. It's like, I know people who supported and I know people who didn't. Doesn't make them a shitty person. Exactly. We just have two different thoughts, two different viewpoints. We can talk about it. We can see if we can meet at a middle ground. We don't. But at the end of the day, you're still my boy. I'm still your boy. You need me, I got you. You got me.
Exactly.
Just because you believe one thing doesn't make me a bad person. I mean, just because you believe one thing doesn't make you a bad person. Just because I believe something doesn't mean I'm a bad person. If you look at my friend group, we're all of different backgrounds, different cultures. Damn, fucking allergies are fucking me up. I have friends that are Muslim. I'm not Muslim. What they believe may not directly correlate to what I believe, and what I believe may not directly correlate to what they believe. But does that make them a shitty person? No. Does that mean they shouldn't have a platform, a voice, and they should be canceled and off social media for it? No. Mm-hmm. They're still human. They're still cool. They're still good to me. They've done nothing wrong to me. I've done nothing wrong to them. So why can't we actually cohabitate and coexist and stuff like that?
It's true.
And that's what social media is causing, more and more of a division.
Social media division, I think, like you brought up Trump's presidency, right? And in 2016 was, in my 23 years of life, I'm going to say socially conscious years of life, was the most polarized I've ever seen society, right? Now, take that a step further. We discussed categorization. There's so many categories for everything. So many categories. And it all ties in together, the hatred, the polarization, because in this country, you are either on one side or the other. You're either a man or a woman, right? Now it goes deeper than that, right? Mm-hmm. Now you're a Hispanic man, all right? So you're a man who's Hispanic and you're Republican, right? Well, guess what? On top of that, you're a straight man, right? Like, and it goes deeper and deeper down this chain, whereas you have all these categories. And now, back to the thriving on hatred thing, society's gonna glorify anything that goes against the norm with your categories. Mm-hmm. How dare you be for lack of a better example, a Hispanic male who supports Trump? Mm-hmm. How many times did we see hatred for that shit?
Yeah, plenty of times.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with whether you believe, and we're using this as an example.
Yeah, this is just a loose example.
But I think, like, the point of everything is to show, like, it doesn't matter what you believe. If you're a good person, you're a good person. Mm-hmm. What you believe may not be what I believe, but if you're a good person, that doesn't change that. Exactly. If you believe a little pebble on the floor is God, and that's what makes you the best person in the world, that you don't do anything bad intentionally or to other people, then who am I to tell you that rock isn't God? By all means, believe the fucking pebble is God. Exactly. It's making you a great person with great morals. Why do I need to change your mind? Why do you have to believe, no, what I believe is right? If that's already making you a good person. That's what social media is doing. It's, oh, you don't agree with what I agree with? Cancel him. Mm-hmm. Get him off the platform. Get him off this. Come on. He shouldn't have a platform. He shouldn't be able to make money off of it. He shouldn't have an audience. Get this guy. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Why? Because I have an opinion? It's an opinion. What you have is an opinion too. Yours isn't a fact. Mine isn't a fact. So who's right, who's wrong? So because you don't agree that I think I'm right, I can't have an opinion. I can't have a platform. I can't make money. Can't provide for myself now. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't be able to get a job. I shouldn't have this, and that. Like, that shit makes no sense to me.
Yeah, like, it's also, like, this is such a dangerous game.
Yeah.
Because we're a country, right? What's, like, the motto of this country? We the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? What does it matter? What does we the people matter, right? If it's so easy to split us up. Like, if you really think about it, it's so easy to turn anybody against anybody. All it takes is a little hashtag on Twitter or Instagram, and guess what? Now half the world is separated.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes from social media, and a big part of it too is social media being used as a way to force people's opinions down others' throats to, like, you have to believe this. It's like on TikTok, it was like a year ago, it went viral, where there was like a crazy division on TikTok where, like, half the people were like anti-LGBTQ whatever, and the other were 100% for it. And this one kid, I don't remember his at, but he started this thing.
I know.
And he came out, he was like, I'm creating a new gender. It's called super straight. And you can't tell me I'm wrong for believing it because it's how I identify. And bro, that shit blew up.
Yep.
And everybody's like, oh, I'm super straight. But, like, that was, like, the perfect example to show, like, how stupid both sides were arguing. It's like, you're on this side, you're on this side. You're both arguing over stupidity. Like, at the end of the day, it's not that... If this makes them a good person because they believe in this, if this makes them a good person because they believe in it, then who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Just let it be.
Yeah. Like,
no one cares. Like, it's so idiotic to me. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I don't know. Social media is just the fuel for, like, lighting that fire and just helping it blow and blow and blow until eventually it just blows the fuck up.
See, so you just transitioned perfectly into one of my questions. Is social media agenda-based?
I think it could be. I won't say 100% because, like, if I'm thinking about, like, on a personal basis, like, for me personally, I don't use social media for... actually, now I do. So maybe you're right. Because now, before I use social media, like... Just cause, like, when I use when I post something on social media, like a picture, or whatever, or a video, it's cause, like, that was a cool video. I just want to post it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't give a fuck, really. I'm just posting it cause I liked it and I figured I'll put it out. I'm not doing it for the validation in a sense. But now that we have the podcast, it is an agenda that I use social media for, where I use it as a way to promote and market. And in a sense, that's pretty much, I think, actually, now that I think about it more, I think even on a personal basis, I think it is strictly an agenda based because, in a sense, you are marketing. Whether you're using it personally and you're just doing the same thing that I said, like, you're just posting, I like it, I post. In a sense, you are marketing because you're marketing yourself and who you are, to an extent. So I don't know, and in a way, I think it can be used as it is for the most part agenda based. I won't say entirely, 100%. There's something holding me back from saying that, but I think there is definitely an agenda when people post to an extent. I think some people are just generally posting just to share their craft or whatever it is, just because they don't give a fuck. They just felt like posting it. Mm-hmm. But I also think a lot of it, probably the majority of it, is agenda based. We're like, oh, I'm gonna post this and put this caption so more people comment and more people follow me and like it and this and that. I get more engagement in this and that. Whereas, like, and it's a perfect example of that. It's like, you take a girl who posts a picture. You ever seen, and I know everybody's seen this actually. It does not even a girl, a guy too. They post a picture or a story, and I'm not even like, it's one thing if you're doing it for, like, a personal brand, like maybe fitness or things like that. That's a personal brand that you're doing it for. So you're trying to grow a fan base on purpose. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about, like, just regular people, don't have a business, don't have nothing. They just post on social media. How many times have you seen a guy or girl post something? It's like nighttime they post. Oh, you like it. And then the next day, like 7 p.m., you realize they just reposted it. Yeah. And it's because they didn't get the engagement they wanted. Why the fuck does it matter?
Yeah. I've witnessed that. I've also witnessed being physically present with girls where they're like, oh my God, it only got 50 likes in the first 2 hours. I need to delete this, and watch them delete it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I actually had that in mind when we were talking about addiction, and I meant to bring this up, but I got lost in the sauce, right? But it's like I've witnessed this on more than one occasion. I've witnessed this at the gym. Like, dude, it's so real. Self-esteem and like meters, like, and the like counter, there's some correlation to it. And this isn't nothing new. Like, this is why platforms are removing the amount of likes. YouTube is removing the amount of likes. Instagram removed the amount of likes. I think Instagram gave you the option to remove the amount of likes. I'm not exactly sure. I don't really pay attention enough to the minutia of it. But we're using, and I use we as in society, likes and engagement and interaction as a metric for something else. And for a lot of people, that metric is our self-worth. Like, that girl who gets 1,000 likes in 1/10 of a second, right? Might be getting all this like validation and everything, but in reality is getting so absorbed in that she's not building her inner self up. So she might actually be very lacking in certain areas of life, but is getting all that attention. So she's okay with that, right?
Yeah.
And on the flip side, there's people who don't get any validation on Instagram, right? But are super intelligent, might be the best of people, right? And vice versa. So that like count, which is crazy because I remember when I was seeing all this, I was like, yo, do people really care that much about the likes?
Yeah, it's crazy too because, like, sorry to cut you off.
No,
but,
you're good.
I remember, at least me, before, I'm not gonna lie, I have done that in the past. And I remember the last time, I don't remember the exact last time I ever did it, but I know I never did it since, because in that moment I did it and I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I give a fuck if these people care or like it? I'm doing this shit for me. And if they happen to like it, cool. And if you don't, I still don't care. Like, it is what it is. And, like, I wish more people had that mindset. But anyways, back to you were saying.
No, yeah.
I just wanted to admit the fact that, like, I have done it before too. So, like, I'm not just saying this like I'm some perfect human.
No, yeah.
I've done it too.
Yeah, so I've never taken down a post or anything like that because of like counts and not trying to seem perfect or anything like that. I've looked and been like, oh, I got 70 likes or something. But I've never been like, it's never been for me personally, it's never been to a point where I deleted a post or anything like that, or even like felt down about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I get that for a lot of people, that is like a serious thing.
Yeah.
Let me see. I had a question that escaped my mind while I was talking.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, I'll just give out this interesting stat I heard, just to give it some background and clarification. I don't know how many people how many people partook in the study group, but just hearing the number and like just observing, especially children, but just people in general, how much they use their phone, it's kind of believable. But the person that I heard say it said that the average person spends about 11 hours a day engaging in social media overall, on average. So not everybody, but the average person in general will spend about 11 hours a day engaging in social media.
I'm so fucking curious now.
Where your screen time is?
Yeah.
I've been getting mine to drop little by little every week. I remember, so I'll say this about me personally. One thing I've noticed about myself is that when I'm around other people, I don't really use my phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's when I'm by myself that I tend to use my phone a lot. Because I remember in 2020, believe it or not, in the 1 year that I had all the time to myself is actually when I used my phone the least. And I don't know about you, but 2020, I had a good year. I had a great year 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I had so much fucking fun. Like, I was not down and out at all. And I remember during the summertime, like, I would always use, like, I would barely use my phone, to the point one week I got my screen time report and I averaged less than 1 minute screen time report, because the only time I used my phone was to answer a text or a phone call. That was it. And I remember I showed it to my friends in a group chat. They're like, yo, that's cap, that's cap, that's cap. And I remember one of them, like, we were all hanging out, and then he admitted, he was like, yo, I thought you were capping, bro, but you haven't touched your phone once. I've been watching you the whole day because I wanted to know if it was cap or not. And I started laughing, and like, I wasn't even doing it on purpose. It was just unintentional. I'm just being in the moment. But I think so many people do the opposite of that. It's way too much. Like, you know how many times you ever try talking to somebody while they're on their phone? You know how often my niece, for example, she's watching YouTube or TikTok. Don't even bother asking her. You got to pull the phone out her hand for her to like actually engage with it. You know how many times I've had a full-on conversation right next to her and she has no idea that I just spoke to her? Like, it's crazy how addicted people have become and like so into it and everything. I don't know. It's crazy. I think more people need to pull back from social media and just try to like control more of it. Like, when you feel that boredom and that urge to pull your phone out, that's when you really shouldn't pull your phone out. Hold that thought real quick. One other thing too that I was just gonna say to point out how addicted we are to social media is, how many times have you been doing something where you knew your phone wasn't next to you, but you still felt like you heard it vibrate or something?
God. There's a name for that. I forgot what the name of it is, but there's
like you could be in the shower, but you feel like you hear it vibrate, and you look, and even though you know your phone's in your room, it's like that goes to show the addiction. Like, you're hearing things that aren't even there.
It's true. Like that's like low key withdrawals.
Yeah. I
was gonna say, something that I've started practicing, honestly, I would say around 2019, when I really started this like journey to just like wanting to be a better fucking human, was I would delete all social medias, right? Mm-hmm. I call it like a little social media cleanse, right? For just about a month or so, right? Because I do at a level like to, go on. I'm not going to act like I'm perfect. I like to see like, how's it, like the people I follow are the people I actually like care about seeing. Yeah. So it's like seeing like, oh, what's up? Like being in the group chats and things like that. So I would always delete them for like about a month or so in these cleanses. And what I would find consistently is that you delete TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and especially Snapchat, because to me Snapchat's useless. Yeah. But just the memories.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I still have it. Just to every now and then look at my memories, be like, damn, I remember this.
Literally last night I was going through memories. Anyways, but deleting social medias, and what I have found from time and time again doing this is the first week is like you're fucking bored. Like, at least for me, where I was like finding a lot of free time where I would have filled it with Snapchat and Instagram and things like that. Not really Snapchat, but like Instagram and Twitter, and being like, all right, well, let me do something else now. So that first week, you're pointing out all these times where you feel the urge to go on these social medias. But at the end of the second week, it definitely dies down. And by the third week, you're like, all right, well, now you're starting to calculate the free time. And that's when I picked up reading, like actually. And then I, got back on social medias, and then, but through this, I developed a new habit of reading.
21 days, that's why.
21 days.
You gave it 21 days, you developed a new habit.
It's true. And you realize, like, for example, when I said I was curious and I checked my phone time, I used my phone for 6 hours and 22 minutes today, right? So that's 6 hours that could have been... The audiobook for the new book I just started is 5 hours and 10 minutes. So if you're really going to talk about opportunity costs, I could have downed that whole book today. Yeah. But a lot of it was probably on like fucking Tinder and shit like that, right? Like, and Instagram and just bullshitting, right? But it goes to show, like, there's a lot of time. We have so much more time, and we did this already a few episodes ago, but we have so much more time. We'll probably do it again. Yeah, no, it's too fire to not do it again. Yeah. Like, so much time that we waste on menial things.
Yeah. And that's something, like, actually, my screen time's been going down, but one thing I've noticed, I think the reason why it's still somewhat high is only because, like, on YouTube, I can't close the app and stuff. But I've noticed now that I use my phone, don't get me wrong, I still go on TikTok. Not nearly as much as I used to. Yeah, I used to spend hours on that. Now I just go for a little bit and then I'm off. where I spend the majority of my time is really YouTube, and then Instagram, like sometimes I would get caught in the loop where like I'm bored, and like I'll just keep refreshing. Like I don't stop refreshing. Yeah. And it's like if it's the same picture, I have to go to explore page, like click on a reel, and just start swiping. So I'm trying to work on that. But what I have noticed is being able to replace, even though the fact that my screen time is still high, being able to replace it with educational, whereas education. So like the reason why my screen time's high is just because I can't close the phone when YouTube's on. But instead I'm listening to like a 3-hour long podcast. So that's why my screen time goes up so much. But
that's actually a good conversation there, because one of the things I do have here is some of the positives of social media and like the internet in general.
Yeah.
Like you said, education. I wrote down access to information, right? Because while there's a lot of bullshit information, there's also a lot of good information too.
Yeah.
And for lack of a better example, I wrote down John Green, right? I'm not sure if you're familiar. Runs the YouTube channel Crash Course, right?
Oh, okay. I know Crash Course.
Yeah. And now like the 100 of different crash courses that they are. But it's like, Crash Course, Jesus, got me through like AP Psych and shit like that. Like,
it got me through anatomy.
And that's educational. Like I was learning while watching. It was AP History and watching and learning, right? So, and even then, you can go on Instagram, like with coding. Oh my fucking God. Social media and YouTube was the key of coding, because I was finding people on Instagram that were doing like the slides of how to like structure lines of codes and different ways of breaking down X, Y, and Z. Like Instagram was really helpful for me learning coding, and YouTube nonetheless. Like YouTube was key, like everything. So there are positives to social media. I know we've been shitting on it for what feels like the last 7 hours.
I'll tell you right now, the last hour.
That was a lot of sauce for an hour.
Yeah.
But like,
hour and 13 minutes.
No, not bad. But like, there are positives to it. And one of those is that same person that isn't happy with who they are can literally learn any fucking thing they want to learn. You want to learn how to code? There's a trillion people that can teach you how to code. You want to learn sales? There's a trillion people that can teach you how to get into sales, or even opportunities. Instagram, LinkedIn,
networking,
YouTube, Facebook, networking, connections. You can get full-on jobs through LinkedIn. Think about that. Like, it's crazy.
That's pretty much how the majority of them get recruited for jobs now. It's through LinkedIn.
It's true. Yeah. Like, social media, for all that it's going to get its bad rap, does have positives too.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. There are definitely a bunch of benefits to it. Like, YouTube alone has enabled me to learn a little bit about a lot. Like, I've been able to learn so many things about so many different things as well. Like, anything I want, I have a spark of interest in my head, and it goes back to instant gratification too. But like, I like start thinking, like, let's say I go outside and I look at them and I'm like, damn, that's crazy, bro. Like, astronomy's crazy. 2020, all I did was learn about astronomy. Damn, astronomy's crazy, whatever. Because that's all I did. Go to the beach and YouTube, boom. Next thing I know, I'm hearing Neil deGrasse Tyson talk in my ear. And he's giving me a whole scientific breakdown on why this, and this happens. And I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. But now I just became more knowledgeable, became more educated. So now if I come across somebody who has similar interests, I can at least speak to them about it, talk to them about it. It made me smarter and more valuable in a sense where, like, I can provide value to that person. They can provide value to me in a sense. And with anything, like, almost every night I listen to Joe Rogan, and I'll hear, like, because every day he has different people who talk about different things. So I don't really listen to the ones about sports, but like the other ones I'll listen to, like about like ancient Aztecs, like just most random shit. But it's so like mind blowing. Yeah, it's so interesting. But like YouTube has allowed, social media has allowed that to happen, because without social media, then those people don't have those platforms in a sense.
It's true
for the most part. Like, if social media doesn't exist, there's no such thing as podcasts. It's called a radio show.
Yeah, like, think about it. how is Joe Rogan supposed to find insert random archaeologist here if it's not for social media?
Yeah, 100%. There's so much to learn. Like, I've learned about credit. I've learned about different side hustles and money and how to make money. Well, not necessarily how to make it, but like different ideas of ways to make money, things you could do. Astronomy, why the sky is fucking blue.
Yeah, literally.
Like sea life, animal life, like the most randomest things you could think of. Like you have the power to learn it at any given point. You're struggling in school, you have crash course teach you. That's how I learned anatomy and physiology in college. The teacher literally would give us lectures and show us crash course videos. And he was like, honestly, guys, like, you should watch them if you want to pass. I was like, fuck, I kind of need a pass. So I started watching. I learned how the heart works because of them. I learned so much off of YouTube. It's crazy. You have a question about statistics, YouTube. You have a question about YouTube. There's full documentation and demonstrations of how to do it.
And that's why I'm going to drop this and say, look the camera dead in the face and say, there's no excuse to be mediocre. Like, work ethic is an optional and information is overly accessible.
Yeah.
Those two things can take you anywhere you want to go. Think about it. Work ethic and information. And I was just thinking about this while you were saying it. Work ethic and information. Your health is lacking. Go to the fucking gym and you have the information to learn anything you need to learn to get better.
No.
Your money's low. Put in the hours. You can access the skills you need to make money.
Yeah.
What's another example? Let me see. Like,
my fault, but to go to the fitness, we always go to fitness, but to go to the fitness one, like, I don't really love, but like, I love it because it makes me laugh when people give me the excuse, like, oh, like, I can't go to the gym because, like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, if you don't want to try, just say you don't want to try. Like, don't make up a lie, an excuse. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So what, you think everybody here knew what they were doing when they first walked in? No. But guess what you have the advantage of? You don't know what you're doing? Okay. Go on YouTube. Type in the name of the exercise. While you're standing right in front of the machine, watch a 5-minute video of the form, how you're supposed to do it, and then imitate it.
Yeah.
Now you know what you're doing. It's that simple. Yeah, but then I don't know, like, routine or whatever. Go on YouTube. Type in leg day routine for beginner. Video pops up. They list the routine.
Take notes.
You don't know what exercise it is? Search in YouTube. This is the exercise. And guess what? You have everything answered right there. Boom. Within 10, 15 minutes, you have all your answers. What's your excuse now? Oh, no. Your excuse is that you're fucking lazy.
Yep.
That's the excuse. And that's the problem with fucking social media. It's a double-edged sword. Like, there's so much good, but then there's also so much negative from it too. It's a double-edged sword. It depends how you use the social media.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I could give two people $1 million. One will blow it all, and one will invest it smartly that now they never have to work another day in their life. Both had both had access to the same tools, but used it different ways. Differently. Yeah. One used it for the good, one used it for the bad. Same thing with social media. You can either use it for the good or for the bad. It's all, at the end of the day, it's your choice. So if you find yourself hooked in a loop, not learning shit, just liking pictures of people that you don't even give a fuck about, that's your fault. If you find yourself on social media, constantly learning and gaining knowledge and education, that's also your fault. But that's probably a good fault. Yeah. Like, it's a choice. Everything's a choice.
Yeah. You have a choice, man. Like, and don't settle for other people's choices either.
Yeah.
Guess what? You might have this super interesting personality, have this eclectic, way of interacting with people because, you're so versatile. You're like a social chameleon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? You know 4 people who started channels, right? And it didn't work. It didn't work for them, you know? So, because they chose to give up, don't be the person who doesn't even try.
Exactly.
Because they settled for their choices.
Yeah, and not only that, you may have different attributes that maybe they didn't have, that people will like about you that they didn't like about them.
It's true.
And go say your point, and then like this thought just came to mind. I wrote it down, so
right,
I won't forget it this time.
And I was gonna say, it's also not even in the sense of like endeavors too. If people like, this is my issue with social conventions. If people choose to follow, let's say, a movement, don't just because they chose to follow that, choose to follow it too. Don't settle for their decisions and their choices. Do your own research, fact check everything, and come to your own conclusion. Because, hey, maybe you do align with this, maybe you don't.
Yeah, it's crazy you said that, because what I literally just wrote down was social media has created followers instead of leaders. And the biggest example of that is Instagram. Do you friend somebody? No, you follow somebody.
It's true.
Like, so it's like, and I was gonna bring that exact point up where like you have an opinion or a movement, and they say one thing, and you see the general populace agreeing with it. So instead of doing research as to like, okay, why do they think this way? What's the opposing view to it? Why do they think this way? Okay, here's the information from both. This is my opinion. This is what I've gathered. This is my decision now. Instead, they see general populace thinks this way. If I think that way, they're going to cancel me and scrutinize me for that. Okay, I'm going to join this side. I'm just going to follow. Because, I don't want to get canceled, Like, I can't go against the grain. That's not okay. Like, that's the dynamic that's been created. And it's crazy, like, as you were saying that, and I read followers, the first thing that popped in my head was Instagram. Like, you don't, like I said, you don't friend somebody, you don't subscribe to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
you don't support somebody. No, you're following somebody.
That's the sheep mentality, man.
Yeah.
And see, not to make this like political or conspiracy theory-ish, right? At a certain level, I believe, right? This is my opinion, where it's organized that way on purpose, because you can have these corporations, right, that want a desirable outcome, and if society, or if they get enough relevant people to align with it, guess what? They can get access to anybody.
Yeah.
That's why the age of the influencer exists. Like, remember I think it was called like the Firefly Festival or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It was a scam, but they got enough people on board, right? Enough relevant people on board that everybody was buying tickets to this bullshit festival.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's on one end, but the way I intended this is like, you can push narratives very easily this way, where this is going to tie into the hate and everything in categorization, where if with the sheep mentality, you can brainwash people to blackball other people out of society for just simply not agreeing.
Yeah.
Something as simple as, this doesn't kind of add up to me, or just as simple as questioning, is this really in our best interest? You're a misogynist, a racist, insert any negative connotation term here, but just because if you go against the grain, it's like, oh my God, he's not aligning with this.
Yeah.
He's not a follower. Bam, blackball. Bam, hate, cancel culture, X, Y, and Z.
That's why cancel culture exists. That's why even though sometimes people go against the grain, and I may not agree so much with what they're saying, I always respect the fact that they didn't follow and just accept what was told to them and said, oh, okay. Like that, they had their opinion, they stood up for their opinion, which so many people don't do nowadays.
It's true.
And I don't know, that shit bothers me. It's just like, yo, stand up for yourself, bro. Like, if you believe something, then fucking believe it and act like it and show it and prove it. If you're gonna get canceled, then at least get canceled with fucking dignity, bro.
Oh my god.
Like, go get canceled, like saying this is what I believe in. And if you can cancel me, then cancel me. But I'm not gonna, like, I'm gonna believe it. I'm gonna tell you exactly why I believe it.
Dude, I'm gonna use this example.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I was gonna say, not also like to be stubborn. Like,
yeah.
If you get proven wrong, like at least to you, then accept it. But oh no, I was wrong. But if you deep down inside feel that you're right, and no one's proven you wrong, and fucking stand
up.
Yeah, but anyways.
We used to be a society where, we would stand for our beliefs, right?
Yep.
But I'm gonna use this as an example because this is kind of hot in pop culture right now, is the Tory Lanez Meg Thee Stallion thing, right? Mm. Now, I'm gonna preface this by saying, for a second, let's assume Tory Lanez is innocent, right? And how much of society has rallied around her, right? Mm-hmm. This man lost all endorsements, record deals, everything, right? But a few days ago, or like a week ago, there was a leak where the doctor is saying that they did not perform surgery to take a bullet out of her foot. They actually just removed glass. So she stepped on shards of glass, right? So now, assuming he's innocent, right? And he's already had all these negative outcomes, what do you just, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Like,
is that like a proven fact?
Yeah, no, like, or? So yeah, like there's medical records that it was glass that was removed from her foot. So now, imagine, like I said, because, I mean, I read the papers. I don't know how much you can fake medical files to that.
I'm sure there's affidavits you could find that will have everything.
Yeah, so I'm not too knowledgeable on
affidavits, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I'm not too knowledgeable on like the medical side of things. But I just looked at that and looked at the overall, the grand scheme of things, where it's like, all right, assuming these files are real, this man has been publicly harassed over something where, like I said, assuming he's innocent, right? Where after he saw this, and you just blindly let everything because it was the socially right thing to do or the socially cool thing to do, you're a fucking clown.
Yeah.
And that goes with any situation, not just Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion. It's, if you just close your eyes and blindly follow what everybody else is doing, you're a fucking clown. Yeah. It might be right, but you have to stop and think for yourself for a second.
Yeah.
That's just something that I personally, truly believe. Take a step back, look at both sides. Which one do you align more with? Which one makes the most sense to you? Take your steps that way.
I think what social media has created is more of a, it's created more of a emotional society.
Yes.
Where people aren't so much logical anymore. They're emotional. And instead of being open-minded and seeing things first for what they are and then making a decision, they're overly reactive. Mm-hmm. So instead of being like, oh shit, this happened. All right, let me see why it happened. What are they saying? What is this person saying? And what's the truth? Instead, they're like, oh my God, this happened. You're a bad person. That's it.
Yeah.
And then they get proven wrong, but now they can't admit that they're wrong because then it makes them look stupid in their head. So they keep saying they're wrong, which makes you look even more stupid. Yeah. But that's the problem, bro. People don't want to admit they're wrong, and two, people don't want to think for themselves anymore. It's like, oh, they said this, okay, wrong. Everybody's emotional, reactional. Think about, I was telling you this story today at work. The freaking woman got mad at me that that she wasn't following the directions of the machine and her card kept declining. She got mad at me, right? So she immediately played the victim role and reacted emotionally as if it was something I did. And then on top of that, she called me an asshole for it. As if I was this terrible person that was declining her card on purpose. And that's the world we live in. Everybody's so reactive. They don't know how to control their emotions. No one has control of their emotions anymore. No one is actually living. Other people are living for them. Mm-hmm. If I can say one thing that causes you to react so negatively that you want to cancel me, you have hatred for me, you want the worst for me, then you don't live. Like, you don't control your life. I control your life.
Yeah.
Because at any given moment, I can say one word and boom, I got you to act exactly how I wanted to act. Good one.
Mm-hmm.
I control you. I own you at that point. It's like telling a dog. You train a dog and you tell it to sit and it's going crazy and you yell, sit, and it just shuts up and sit. I control the life of that dog. That dog does not live for itself. I am the one who's controlling that dog. It's like, I choose when it sits. I choose when it goes out for a walk. I choose when it can go pee and poop. I choose when it can eat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at that point, you're not living anymore. Everyone else is living for you. You're not in control when you become reactive and so emotional. And I think that's the biggest issue with social media is people have become so detached from reality that they become so emotional and reactive, and they're not able to even think for themselves. That, like, you're at that point, like, the majority of people are not even living. Like, you're not even living. Like, have you gone to a concert and seen somebody just stand there the whole time without pulling out their phone? Or better yet, like, even if they record, how many of them have you seen record with the phone here and they're actually looking? They don't care what they record. Very few people do that. The majority are like this the entire concert. You're not living. You did not go to that concert. Your phone went to the concert. You watched the concert through a screen, bro. Like, for that, you should have just waited till it got posted on YouTube and watched it at home. Save your money. Like, you're not living. Everyone else is living for you. If I can, like I said, if I can say one word that causes you to get so emotional and reactive to the point that you have hatred for me, you want to cancel me, you think I don't deserve to make money from what I do, you don't think I deserve an audience, a platform, a job, none of that, then I control you. I own you at that point.
That's true.
Oh, you didn't like that I said the word retard earlier in the episode? And that triggered you so much that you had to click off the episode and you hate me now? You don't want to talk to me in person? I control you. Because now I know when I'm next to you, all I have to say is retard, and you're gonna go fucking crazy. I see you having a good time at the bar, I'm gonna walk by and be like, retard.
Yeah.
I said it's a problem. Now you just had a shit night. I control you. I live for you. I own you. And that's what social media has created.
Absolutely. Oof, that was a gem. That was a fucking gem.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you might be doing a lot, but your foundation is so weak that it's so easy for you to just pass by, you know, quick little whisper, and guess what? Your whole foundation just came crashing down.
Exactly. It's like the fucking big bad wolf, whatever. The fucking house made of, what is it, hay or whatever. Yeah. Looks nice. Looks big. It's a home. Mm-hmm. You could live in that. That's dope. And I come by, gone. No, it's not a good house. It's fake, is what it is. It's not real. You're not living. I'm living for you. I control you.
It's crazy because I had this conversation not too long ago with a few people, whereas that's deeper than just social media and everything like that. Truthfully, look deep inside you and figure out what triggers you, right? Like, what makes you break character
and
why, and dive so deep into that fucking onion until you're not even just at the core, you go fucking through it. Because I promise you, at the end of the day, that's how you stabilize your sense of self. And once you go through this and you knock off, all the layers of this onion, and you can successfully say, you know what? Once upon a time when people talked about their fathers, it made me feel a kind of way, but now it doesn't. That's progress. I used to have triggers about X, Y, and Z, but now I don't anymore. That's progress. That's how you get by triggers. Yeah. That's maturity. That's growing up. Not just sitting here and saying, well, I'm very sensitive to this word or these things, so those are my triggers. You can't talk about that. Yeah. You can't bring that up. No, like, your triggers are nobody else's problems except for yours. If you're very sensitive to the word retard, guess what? That's nobody's problem but yours. Other people don't have to change their lives to accommodate you. And I think that's the issue with a lot of people today. It's up to you to fix you. It's not my job. Yeah. We do this because we want to help. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what advice we give. It doesn't matter what we talk about. It's up to you to take it, digest it. And maybe you disagree with it. That's totally fine. That's encouraged. Combat us. Talk to us. Maybe we both grow. But at the end of the day, It's up to you to take,
action.
Yeah, to take action and for you to grow. And that's in any realm of life, not just YouTube, not just social media. It's with everything. You dive deep, I promise you, that experience of just understanding yourself and building your foundation, it pays more than any little paycheck, I promise.
Mm-hmm. And it's great. Like, I 100% agree with what you said about people have this mentality where the world revolves around them, especially the more clout they have. I've noticed, even like small clout, like I've noticed, like I've encountered some people who have like maybe 10, 15,000, especially girls on like followers on Instagram or something, and they walk around like the world revolves around them. Like their shit doesn't stink like the other person's behind them or something. Like theirs magically smells like a fucking rose in a fucking garden of flowers. It's like, no, you're no fucking different. Like, who do you think you are? Why? Because you have 10,000 followers on social media? How many of them do you actually fucking know? How many of them actually like you for you?
Yeah.
How many of them are just liking you for a perception or idea of who you are? How many of those guys actually really do like you and want to keep you around? Or how many of them just want to fuck you because you have 10,000 followers and you're pretty? Like, there's a big difference. And then I think people take it to their head where like they become egotistical with it too. That's another thing. Like, again, the woman today at the freaking store, bro, she said I had the attitude problem because I told her 5 times in a row what to do, and the 5th time I got annoyed. And not so much annoyed, but I was like frustrated. I was like, yo, like, I'm telling you what to do, you're not listening, and you're getting mad that it's not working, but you're not listening to what I'm telling you what to do. I had an attitude problem. I need to work on myself. I'm the problem. Like, no, I'm not the problem. You just think the fucking world revolves around you, and any little inconvenience is an issue. And that's the problem with the world. Every little inconvenience is a fucking issue, bro. I don't know. This shit. I'm not going to deep into it. But like,
that, and it's funny because what you said, Jordan Peterson, I may have mentioned this before, has a saying where he's like, take accountability for everything. Make everything your fault. And you don't like being wrong.
No one wants to be wrong.
Yeah. So you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to make mistakes. You will start making better choices. Oh my God, it's your fault my card's not working. Instead, it's going to be like, oh man, well, what was I doing wrong in this situation? Oh, I was looking at my phone too much or whatever, X, Y, and Z. You know why you can have that thought process? Because you're saying your card not working is your fault, as opposed to saying, you asshole, it's your machine, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Like, and that goes with anything. Think about that. If you place the blame on yourself and not in the, oh, it's my fault, I'm gonna go mope in bed. No, I'm in the, it's my fault. Let me see what happened and how can I improve it so I don't face this issue again. That's taking accountability for it. Not just saying, no, it's my fault. Oh man, I'm a bum, I'm this, I'm that. No, there's no progress there. You have to take accountability to improve. And even if it's one little decision at a time, maybe next time she goes to your counter, she doesn't look at her phone as much.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's not even that. Just next time she comes to my counter, she actually listens when I fucking tell her, you have to click the other one and put in your PIN number and stop clicking the credit because it's not a credit card, you have a debit card. And if she listened to me the first time I said it, none of that happens. But instead, she chose to listen on the 6th time I said it, or the 5th time. And guess what? It went right through nice and normal. I was like, wow, look at that. What I said 5 minutes ago worked. As if I don't work here and haven't dealt with this before.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. But it's crazy. Yeah. It goes back to like what we said in previous episodes where people don't take accountability and they need to take more accountability. But anyways, to kind of get back more to the social media aspect of everything, the question I have for you is, where do you think social media is going in the future? And do you think it will get better or worse along the way?
Where is social media going, and will it get better or worse? See, there's kind of to answer the first part of the question, I see it just getting more ingrained into our day-to-day life. So now, social media and shopping are one.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy things right through Instagram, right through Facebook. Number one form of marketing, right? So I think I see the rest of our day-to-day task transitioning over into social media, where I wouldn't even be totally against saying I can see a future where our daily life is streamlined through social media. So I see it picking up steam and just getting more and more involved. And I also think about virtual reality, right? And seeing how I could imagine you being in that VR chat and being able to post right to Facebook through the VR chat.
Yeah.
I see it all, like, I see social media becoming the funnel, and VR and day-to-day life, everything coming through that funnel. Now, you asked, is it getting worse?
Do you think it will get better or will it get worse?
So, I'm going to answer this from the perspective of free thought, right? And I see social media getting worse in the sense of censorship. Whereas you cannot have your own opinion today without it being an issue, where on TikTok, if you say, something along the lines of, women are more privileged than men, guess what? Your TikTok is banned, right? Or if you say anything that doesn't align with certain schools of thought, you actually lose your ability to have a say in that platform. So I see censorship growing, and that being a cancer to free thought and aiding that sheepish mentality.
Interesting take. It's an interesting take. No.
What would you say?
No, I would agree. I think it is going to get worse. I think there's going to be two types of people in the future, though. I think it already exists now, too. But hopefully it'd be more prevalent. I would hope. I don't know if it's going to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
But I see two types of people. There's going to be people that are that. The censorship is going to maybe affect so much their thought process and their ability to think for themselves. And to be able to feel okay to just express themselves and how they feel or their opinions without having to deal with such negative remorse. I think that's going to be an even bigger issue later on. And then I also think there's going to be people who see social media for what it is, but then understand that there's also a game that needs to be played and then use it accordingly. I would hope the majority of the people can realize that social media can be used in many ways, and I would hope they use it in the way where, like, okay, I see what it is, why it is the way it is, and what it's for. I may not agree, or I do agree, but I'm aware of it at least,
mm-hmm.
and this is how I'm going to use it with my awareness of it, kind of thing. Like, I'm not gonna become emotional about it or reactive to the things I see, but I'm gonna use it in a way where I can benefit my personal life without hurting others at the same time. So whether that's like as a marketing tool and things like that, I would hope most people start to see it that way. Do I think they will? Probably not. But I think those are the only two types of people that are going to be on social media in the future. Those that are aware, but just play the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then those that are just being played by the game.
The sheep.
Yeah. There's going to be the hustlers and the majority that are getting hustled.
It's true. You said something that reminded me of a Gary Vee talk he had, where it's like, there's buildings in this picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all want to build the tallest skyscraper. But what does it matter if you built the tallest skyscraper if you had to knock down every other building to have the tallest skyscraper? Like, there's no reason to.
No.
Just work on yourself, build yourself up. There's no reason to go out and attack other people's ideologies or other people's businesses.
Well, I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna say I'd rather people. I think it's okay to attack the ideology, but not the business. Like, or the person. Attack
That's what I meant, not the person. Sorry.
Yeah, attack the ideas, but not the person.
Yeah, I misworded that, but like we can have disagreement.
Yeah.
You might like fucking blueberry pie. Yo, I like pumpkin pie.
Fuck pumpkin pie.
Yo, bro, fuck blueberry pie, bro.
What the fuck? You want to throw hands right
Yo,
now?
so what's up?
I don't like this guy, bro. Get him off my podcast.
Bro, get out. No, you know. But like, we can have disagreement, but I don't have to say, oh man, no attacks on blueberry pie, but you're not a good person.
Yeah. Or, oh, you like pumpkin pie? Ooh, you're disgusting. Don't fucking talk to me. Your breath probably smells like pumpkin.
Yeah, like it's.
You probably like Halloween all the time too. What are you, weirdo? Ew,
pumpkin pie's fire, by the way.
I've never had it, but
oh, bro, it's crack.
I don't want to try it, to be honest.
Yo, what kind of person doesn't want to try that, man?
I'm that person. I've been talking shit about this whole time.
Nah, man, but ultimately, get what you can out of it, right? Maybe conversations around disagreements are, what you can get out of it. And honestly, not even can. You can get that out of social media if you put yourself out there and have these conversations, have these dialogues.
Yeah.
We're 10 episodes in, and this has been a common thing, like almost every episode. Dialogues are important.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, social media could be a great outlet for these dialogues. Like, maybe there's a post about the defense budget, right? And bam, you comment, we don't spend enough. They comment, we spend too much. And you guys discuss, right? But you're not attacking Joe Schmo from Indiana, and he's not attacking you, but yet you guys are understanding. Maybe they have information you don't have. Maybe you have information they don't have. And then you guys find a common ground. All through the phone, right? Like, social media could be so cool. Mm-hmm. It's just not right now.
It's not used the right way.
Yeah.
I think social media should be used as a tool, and a lot of people don't use it that way. Yeah, I don't know, man. I see it two ways. You could either be the hustler or you could get hustled. So you can either play the game or get played by the game. One of the two. You have two options. You can either be the person with the remote or you could be the character inside the TV being controlled by the person with the remote.
Yeah. It's
your choice what you want to do. It's all about how you use it and your perspective on it. Like we said before, although we listed many negatives about social media, there are many positives to it as well with educational purposes. It just comes down to how you use it. Do you use it for the good, or are you engaging in it for the bad? And are you letting that bad consume you and dictate your life and your lifestyle and how you live day to day and your emotions and all that stuff? I don't know. I just think if more people can step out, see it as a whole for what it is, and then use it as a tool to benefit them without hurting others, intentionally at least, without hurting others in general, then it would make probably this world a better place.
Agreed. It would open the door for a lot more growth.
It would open the door for a lot more conversation too, without having to attack people, which I think is the biggest issue right now. Why so many people are afraid to voice their opinions, because the fear of being attacked.
The fear of being attacked all goes back to the polarization, the hate, the monetization of hate, which you have a right to, freedom of speech. You dislike something, cool, challenge it, right? But it's become such an economy today, I would say. And the lack of stability of oneself, I think, which social media has created so many of these. I keep referring to them as sheep words. We, as a society, are attaching too much to our social medias that we're not differentiating ourselves from it.
Exactly.
Where if your post only got 50 likes, it's a personal attack on you.
Yeah.
Understand, you are more than just an Instagram profile, even though that Instagram profile is a representation of you.
Yeah. Too many people are seeking external validation. The only validation you need is from yourself.
It's true.
If I'm confident with who I am and what I can be and where I want to be, And I don't need anyone else's validation for it. You validate me, cool, thank you. Didn't need it, but thank you. You want to disqualify me? Cool, thank you. Didn't need it, but thank you. But I'm good with who I am, and I know where I want to go and where I want to be. And I'm going to keep going until I get there.
And being that way leads you to the natural forms of validation. Because guess what? You operating that way gets you in and around people who also operate that way and have that like-mind way of thinking.
Yeah.
Just naturally. So definitely hit the nail on the head there about the validation thing.
Like our boy Tay says, escape the matrix. Escaping the matrix is understanding how it works, and then from knowing how it works, saying, all right, this is how I'm going to play my game now. I may not agree with how it works, but at least I understand it.
Yep.
You take it from there. You have any final thoughts? Any final questions you want to ask?
Final thoughts, I would say, remember, social media does have good things to it.
Yeah.
Quick run through, opportunities. Might open the door for some jobs. It might open the door for some internships. It can open the door for anything, for business, marketing. It can open the door for learning new skills. For example, coding. There's a lot of information on there. Get the uses you can out of it. I want to run through real quick. Awareness. You might be exposed to ideologies you didn't have before. And what else? Let me see. I'm going through all my notes real quick. Be aware of the propaganda on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Decipher the real from the fake. I would say
just learn to be open-minded with social media, and just in general in life, but especially with social media since it's so prevalent in our lives. Just learn to be open-minded. Don't see one thing and just run with it. I would say if you see that one thing and it sparks an emotion in you that you don't like, figure out why don't you like that emotion. Do some research. See, okay, this is why people are saying this. Let me see why people are saying the opposite now. And actually look at it. Don't look at it to disqualify it. Look at it to, I don't know if qualify would be the actual word, but look at it to so that it actually approves it, I guess, in a sense, for lack of a better term. Reinforces it. There you go. And then see from the two which makes the most sense. Then decide.
Yeah.
And instead of just immediately reacting off emotion and letting that consume you without even doing your full research or having the understanding. And yeah, like you said, there's many goods in social media. There's also a lot of bad in social media. At the end of the day, it's just step out of your emotional standpoint, your emotional frame, your reactive frame. Look at things from a logical perspective. Understand why things are the way they are, how it works, why it works, and figure out, okay, I understand it now. Here's how I'm going to use it, and go from there. And if you are going to use it in a way where it is beneficial to you, but you're not hurting others along the way, especially intentionally, not hurting others. And yeah, that being said, those are my final thoughts.
Close it out with, like Gary Vee said, what does it matter if you built the tallest skyscraper if you knock down every other one to have it?
Exactly. Just a lonely ass skyscraper.
Sure.
But yeah, with that being said, Gianni,
Brandon,
Lost Boyz Podcast. Make sure to subscribe, comment, turn the notifications on, like, DM us, whatever. Subscribe to the TikTok. Watch the clips on the shorts. It's on the channel, on this channel. And yeah, Lost Boyz Podcast, episode 10, social media. Adios.
Peace.